Right, okay, so I want you to focus in on her roots. Right, recording. Okay. So today we're doing a regrowth tint application. So when we talk about regrowth, we're talking about the area that has grown out. So last week you did the full head, so this week it's where your tint has grown out to. So if you look closely, you can see here where my client's tint has grown out. So we are only painting on the regrowth area. What you mustn't do with a regrowth application is overlap. If you overlap your colour, you end up with something called banding. So if you overlap the colour, it then means tint on top of tint will darken and it will give you lines of banding. So it's really important that you only paint the regrowth area. Okay? So how we're going to do this, when you do a full head tint, you start off with your hot cross bun sections. And you always leave the hairlines for last because it's the most porous area of the head and it takes the quickest. We're doing some. Do you not say that? Okay. So you always just keep it onto your regrowth area. And you're pushing the colour into the roots of the hair. So use your comb to help you section it and make sure you can clearly see the area where you need to put it. So prior to this application, I carried out a consultation to match this colour up to what was already on my client's hair. Done my centre section, I'm now going to do my sections down the sides.
See, the other Friday night when I got in, I was going to get a...
So I'm being particularly careful not to overlap onto that old colour.
But I was thinking, I got really hungry. I was like, actually, I'm quite hungry.
Okay, and then we're going to go around to the other side and do exactly the same on the other side. So I've followed health and safety, I'm wearing my gloves, I've got my apron on and my client is protected with a gown and a plastic cape. Okay, so now I've got my hot cross bun section done. I'll start with the back two sections. Again, you always start with the back two sections because the back of the hair is generally more resistant, so the colour won't take as quickly on them areas. So I'm taking small sections, about half a centimetre to a centimetre in thickness, and I'm painting that colour on the regrowth area, so both sides. If the hair is particularly thick, you'll take smaller sections. If the hair is fine, you take larger sections. And again, only painting on that regrowth area. Do you record the whole time? So just methodically work your way down, taking them sections across. It's really important that you take small sections, because if you take too big a section you may miss an area of hair and it could result in an uneven colour application. So I'm just using my end of my comb to take my section, and I use my comb to keep my hair out of the way. I don't have too much product on my brush either. Or the alternative could be is that you could use the end of your brush to take your section as well, like so. Okay. Be careful of your client's ears. If you do get any product onto their ears, just wipe it off with a piece of damp cotton wool. And it's usually better to wipe it off as you go along so that it doesn't stain their scalp. Darker colours do scalp the skin quite easily, so it's important to wipe it off quite quickly. But be careful not to wipe it off your actual hairline, because you obviously need that colour on there. Okay. Just make sure you've gone all the way around that section. Make sure you haven't missed any pieces of hair, including the little hairline pieces of hair. On completing this section, you would then move on to the next back section. Okay, so for the purpose of this demonstration, I'll pretend I've done both sides, and you then move on to the front section. Okay, and again we would start from the top, small sections, and we're going to work our way all the way forward. Okay, again making sure you don't overlap as you go. Don't be in a rush and take big sections, because you will miss pieces of hair and it will affect your overall result. Okay, so just continue working all the way to the front. Okay, so now I'm coming round the front. So this hair is much finer, so this is why we leave this section to the end, because the hair is much finer, which means it has less cuticle layers, which means it's going to take the colour much quicker. Okay, just like I explained around the ears, if you do get any colour onto your client's face, make sure you wipe it out away immediately so it doesn't stain. Okay. From here, you would now paint around the hairline on this side, making sure you get all the little fine pieces of hair. Like I say, if you do get colour further down, then wipe it away with a piece of cotton wool. Okay. You would now move on to the second side, so all of your hair would now be completed. When you've finished, you have to cross-check. So you're cross-checking to make sure you haven't missed any of the hair. So to do this, because we took our sections in this direction, we will cross-check in the opposite direction. You need to be careful that you don't scrape your comb along the scalp, because you will remove the colour from the scalp. So just gently putting your comb in, you're cross-checking to make sure every piece of hair is covered. So I'm just gently moving the hair away. If you do find any areas that are missed, you can go back and make sure it has got adequate product on. Particularly thick hair sometimes absorbs the colour, and you often find you need to put more on. So I'm just going through, I'm cross-checking, and I'm just putting more product on where is required. Okay, make sure you do that on each section. Okay, so this section, I took my sections in this direction, so I'm going to cross-check in an opposite direction. Again, I'm making sure there's adequate product on every piece of hair. Okay, because that uneven application could affect the end result. Okay, on completion of cross-checking, you then need to make sure all the hair is away from your client's face, and then you would leave them for the recommended processing time. And you can do this under heat or without heat. Okay?